Hey y'all, Billy and the Homestead Honey back again to do some really cool stuff. You like Homestead Honey, or you prefer Permaculture Princess?
Never anything that has the word princess or queen in it. Ever.
But there's a lot of guys out there that like both titles, but we'll save that for another. We'll save that for the podcast, which, by the way, you ought to be checking out. Hey, before we get into it, don't forget, Heritage Life Skills Conference is going to be coming up in Waynesville, North Carolina. All the details are going to be down below. We're going to be there, but more importantly, the guy that wrote 1 Second After William Fortune, Dr. William Fortune, he's going to be there. And that's one of the biggest reasons I'm going. So coming out of retirement for this year, just long enough to do that, and maybe a few other things. All right, so Homestead Hunt. I'm sorry, Michelle. What are we doing today?
So we planted sweet potatoes in this bed about 4 weeks ago to grow slips. So the slips have grown, and now we're going to cut them off and plant for actual sweet potatoes.
Okay, before we get into that, y'all, I wanna point out look. We've lived in climates where, or a lot of places where sweet potatoes weren't at the top of the list. But if you want to know the pimp daddy of all things sweet potato, right there, Danny from Deep South, his manual, which they have at their Etsy store, I highly encourage everybody to go over there, get this thing for two reasons. Number one, it's got this thing called paper, and it can't be scrubbed from the internet. And so he has everything from start to finish, how to do it, from doing your slips all the way until the point where,
Paper that.
Yeah,
Let me just point out who did this. Milk Boy.
No, he didn't.
Milk Boy, when he was a puppy, completely shredded this page.
Okay, the Greatest Pyrenees does not do stuff like this. Her little heathens up there at that house are almost certainly the ones that did it. But let's get back to it.
It was Milk Boy.
Yeah, it was.
No,
it was laying on the front seat of the truck, and back when he would fit in the front seat of the truck.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have been in there in the first place. He should have been out there with them sheep. But we digress. So, like I said, y'all, everything from start to finish, everything you need to know. Now, at this time in America, why are we focusing on stuff like this? Anybody that's ever watched us for any period of time realizes that we focus far less on our perennial systems, our annual systems, anything that was green or plants. We focused very little on it if it wasn't trees, because so many other people did it. We focused on animal systems. We focused on integration. We focused on permaculture. We focused on a number of other things. But this year we've taken a tack the other way. Like I said, those reasons. Number one being, look at the world around you, for crying out loud. Look. You don't need a good eye to see it, but things are going through the roof. Also, you have these skills that you can go out there, take. It may be too late for you to put slips in where you are, but you can go buy them right now. Grow your food. Things are only going to get shakier. They're only going to get more expensive. That is the biggest reason to do it. And plus, permaculture, preparedness, and practical living, this falls right into all three of them. So with that said, I'm gonna quit yapping and let the Homestead Honey. I'm sorry, Michelle. I'm sorry. It's such an awful habit. Let me also point out, y'all, the bed they're in is basically some of the soil. It hasn't yet been top dressed with the compost we've made. If you want to know how we're making that compost, we're doing all that over on Patreon. Go over there, check it out. Inexpensive to get there and get this information, but that's where we're covering how we're going to build this soil and how we're going to transform this jacked up soil into something that's very special. But think about it. These sweet potatoes did well, very well, in soil that's almost denuded of life. In fact, you looked at it under the microscope. What did you see?
So I looked at a few beds under here. Some of them have been top dressed with compost that we made last year. And some of them, like this one, is just, like, you can tell, it's just...
it's dirt. It's not even soil.
A lot of sand. And they're heavily bacteria. So we need to, for the crops that we want to grow in here, we need to get a little more fungal life into here in order for the plant to be able to not get disease and pest ridden.
That's right, but it also shows the resilience of something like a sweet potato, a storage crop, something you can put away for a long, long time.
So what we're doing is just pushing back the soil, and then you can see where it's attached, where they're growing the roots. So we're just going to clip this off, and Danny's manual says to clip a half an inch above just so you don't get any of the disease from the sweet potato.
Now keep in mind, y'all, these are some really not wonderful kind of looking slips here. They're nowhere near that long, but we're going to go with them anyway. And if we wanted, we can also go to the, we got a farm store in town that's probably got some for sale. So whether you're growing them yourself, this is the first time we've ever tried, this is our first time ever trying to grow slips, right?
Yep, yeah, it is.
So this is our first time. Typically, we've gone like everybody else. Well, not everybody else, but the people doing this stuff. We've gone to the store to go get it. While she's over there getting more, y'all, I just want to point out, if you look at Danny's in his videos, those things are about that long, okay? Well, this is really a testament to our inexperience and really, honestly, some jacked up soil. It's really an amazing thing that we got what we did from a soil that's almost entirely bacterial. But it also goes to show the resilience of this fantastic plant. Now, Michelle, are we going to split these up or is this one?
I believe we're going to split them up. I'm going to have to look at his book again, but I believe we're going to split those up.
All right, so we got a bucket with a little bit of water in here. I'm just going to kind of stick them over here. Still got way too much doggone water in there. Michelle had this thing plumb up halfway, y'all, so I'm going to have to dump some out. And just enough to keep them moist because we're not playing around. As soon as we're done here, we're going right up to the hacienda. Go ahead and put these bad boys in the ground. All right, first time out of the gates, y'all. I would call this, like I said, they're not that long like Danny's slips, but I mean, I imagine, what's so funny? I'm gonna leave it right there. Y'all, we got hundreds down in this bucket just from a handful of doggone sweet potatoes.
Yeah, these are the sweet potatoes that we started with, and we had a couple different varieties in here, which I'm not gonna keep track. Like we're just gonna. These are the white sweet potatoes, which seem to do better than I believe these were
than the brown ones over here. So the white ones turned out better than the black ones. Is that what you're telling me?
That's not what I said.
Yeah. Somebody out there, some Marchie out there is going to be offended about it. I don't care. I'm going to own it and I'm going to laugh about it because that's funny. I don't care who you are. So what's going to happen now? What are we going to do?
So now we're going to take our slips and plant them. We're going to plant them in a bed up by the house.
All right. Take our manual, take our slips, and then it's off and running. All right, y'all. So here we are in one of the places we're going to put these. And according to the manual, why don't you tell everybody what the specifications are?
So if you're planting them in the ground, the recommendation is 30 inches between rows and then 14 to 16 inches between plants.
Right. So there's a couple of ways in which we're going to go about doing this. I'm kind of bundling a couple of things here. This here, y'all, is a forked stick. There are many like it, but this one is mine, okay? And I got other varieties here as well. But why not make your stick also your measuring device? So that 14 to 16 inches, you know, I can sit here, poke this thing in the ground. We'll demonstrate. Why don't you go ahead and grab one, honey, and show them how it goes. Now, with Danny's, they're considerably longer. So how deep does he say in the manual to put them?
He says do your hole like 6 to 8 inches. And then stick your slip in there. Okay, so that's 6 to 8 inches. Instead of carrying around a tape measure, I know right there is 4 inches, okay? That's 6 inches. So I just add another couple of inches to it. So I know in my stick, if I just kind of go here and then, if I know that's 6 inches, because I know what my hands are, and then right up here, I know I'm right about 8. So I'm just going to go ahead and poke this thing in the ground like so. And this is really soft dirt, y'all. This is soil. Okay, we got us a little hole there. And then Michelle. And this is where the forked stick comes in, Billy. Can you demonstrate this, please? Why are you laughing? Because it's twice as funny to hear you say, a woman from New York say forked stick, okay? Those of us in the South, it just comes off a little bit better. I got to trim this one up.
Dad, you're from Pennsylvania too.
I know, yeah, but I was raised in Oklahoma, which might as well be the South. So you grab a hold of it, or a hold of it, right there with that forked stick. Pull it up out of there, and then bam. Last year, she had to go and get She had to go do her things her own way, so
Which
she
was
just
better.
used a trowel.
Which was better.
Didn't work out that well.
Yes, it
so
did.
check it out. We got a nail here, nail there, nail there. We're going to combine a couple of things here. So we can sit here and lay this stick out, go ahead and put our next one, which is exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and stick it here. Bam. Yeah. And then she'll hand me another one.
So also, I've seen in Danny's videos, I don't think it's in the manual, but I know in his videos, he just takes the bottom few leaves off.
Bam. And then I'm going to run this thing down in here with that highfalutin forked stick technique. Be careful, boys and girls, if you try this at home, okay? Just be cautious. So what we're going to do, we're going to basically use Danny's method all the way down through here, using my forked stick as a measuring tool. And then we got one here. That's a little wide, so we're going to take that John Jevons way of doing it, where we hit the interstitial space with another one here, so we can get even more grub out of here. And like I said, this soil isn't perfect. It's much better than the stuff where these slips came from. But I'll tell you what, before it's all said and done, we're going to top dress it with some of that bomb compost down there, and this is going to be off to the races. All right, so here we are. Everything's in there, and folks, I gotta say, looking at these slips compared to the ones that we purchased from the store.
Yeah, the ones we got last year were horrible looking.
Yeah, I mean, those things were, but you look at these guys, man, they're as happy as Hunter Biden at a crack house. These guys are absolutely kicking, and they're ready to get off and running. So what do we do from here, honey?
So now we're just going to water them in, and the first 60 days you want to make sure you keep them moist. They don't like wet, boggy soil, but so we're just going to keep them moist and let the vegetation grow, and it'll cover the soil and do a better job of keeping that moisture in.
Yeah, there's not going to be, this stuff is literally going to be spilling over the sides when it's all said and done. So really, what was the cost of all this? You go there and think about what things are costing in the store for sweet potatoes or even the slips. It was almost next to nothing, because all those sweet potato slips we got from sweet potatoes that we produced last year.
Right.
So, this is a no-lose operation. And this is one of those crops really that is not all that hard. This is well drained. So as far as a harvest, how long are we looking at right now?
So it depends on the variety, but they can go anywhere from 100 to 140 days. So I'm just gonna write on a tag, stick it in the bed, the date we planted it, and then just count out from probably 140 days from there, and then we'll harvest.
We'll back it up also on a calendar. So folks, this is one of those things that you ought to be putting in right now. And like I said, in addition to all the instruction we got for doing this, there's recipes in here, everything, color pictures, all of it right there. So go check it out over at Deep South Homestead. You're going to be glad you did. And folks, only thing we're going to do at this point, keep it watered, and we're going to top dress it with some of that, not right now, but later on, we're going to top dress it with some of the compost, that bomb compost I'm making down there. And that's the only thing left we're going to be doing after that. What is so funny right now? I don't know. She doesn't know. Apparently William doesn't know either. Okay, well, I'm looking around. I'm thinking, okay, is there something on me? I don't know. So,
We'll call it an Easter egg in the video.
okay. All right, so I don't know what it is. But anyway, look, I think what it comes down to, everybody's jealous because I got a Kellogg's variety pack of forked sticks over here, and that's what's going on. All right, y'all, hopefully this was a blessing to you. You need anything from us like this comfrey that's growing with this garlic back here, we got it at the website. Bone sauce, world's best deer repellent. We got some of that too. It's not a panacea, but it's the best money can buy, guaranteed. And anything you need, y'all. Check us out down below. Check us out on Patreon. And don't forget the ballinest podcast on planet Earth when it comes to permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. It's called the Permaculture Pimpcast, where PIMP stands for permaculture is my passion. So on behalf of the Homestead Honey, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. We'll see y'all next time.